Don't call me now. Don't call me now. Don't call me now.
Live, man.
I'm live. You turn the thing on, man? Did you turn that on, man?
You on there?
I'm on now. No, man, do it again. Oh, cuz is hitting that thing, boy. Oh, that mug does sound. Ooh, every time I spit out, I'll be like, ooh. Man, y'all ain't even hearing this thing. Ah, already breaking that mug down. This thing is deep, man.
I'll always have a positive word because I'm here to serve.
Say something, man. I want you.
Oh, good evening, good evening. I was doing a little reading. I'm sorry. Good evening. This your host, Joaquin Thompson, coming to you live from
What you say?
Sugarloaf,
No, sir.
Greenville,
No, sir.
AB.
No, say it again.
Dearborn.
That's where you at. That's where you
Good evening. This is your host, Joaquin Thompson. See you coming to you live from Lilburn, Georgia. And super excited, man. Just I can't get enough of this show, man. It's just so, man. Every week I think I got it together. And then as soon as I hear that music, man, I just get so hyped. But definitely excited. Episode 93. We only got 6 episodes to go.
6 episodes ago.
I only got 6 episodes to go, man, and I done cracked 100 episodes. And I was trying to say it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
I was trying to say that to myself, like, oh man, it's 100 episodes. It ain't no big deal. But then I got to saying, then when I thought about it, I was like, yes, it is. Because even if you think about it this way, well, before I get into that, because you know I like to get into it, but before I get into that, for those of you all that are joining for the first time, the Daily Bread Radio Show is a show about personal finance. And it's my belief that everything that we do, touch, think about, is all tied to personal finance. From the day that we're born to the day that we transition away from here. It's all about personal finance. Every day, all day, about personal finance. Now, I know it's things that we do, family, and other things that we like to do, but even when you sit down and break that down, even a lot of that is tied back to personal finance. So what I do, or what I attempt to do every week, is to teach different topics. Yeah, what happened? Teach different topics about personal finance from a spiritual perspective, because what I want to do is I want to make sure that everything that I talk about has a component of God in it. So we don't do religion on the Daily Bread Radio Show, but we do spirituality. I mean, we don't do religion, but we do everything from a spiritual standpoint. So that way, as we go through the show, we talk about different topics. We want to make sure that everything that we talk about is some way tied back into the Creator. Because I don't know about you all, but one thing that I found out recently, and I already knew it, but and I'm gonna get a little personal, but I had an encounter. I had an encounter last week. I went to church last week, and the minister was, preaching a sermon on, what the sermon was about. And you know how you go to church, just like the comedian was saying last week. Now, before I go into my story, I want to give my producer Raheem, a huge applause. Man, play the applause. You play that every other time. Man. Do the clapping, man.
Okay.
His event last week, Love and Laughter. Love and Laughter. This event was, I mean, it was so incredible. He had it at St. Jerusalem's Church out in Lawrenceville, Georgia. And when I say it was a phenomenal, this was a phenomenal event. This was something that should have been down at like the Fox or, you know, something like that. I mean, great evening of clean comedy, had different comedians, had different musical acts. Everybody was just excellent. I mean, everybody and everything was just excellent. So shout out to my producer Raheem for putting on an excellent show. And I'm gonna get back to my story, but one of the things that I thought about that I'm gonna keep preaching about on this show is this. It's nothing more powerful than the idea that time has come. It's nothing more powerful than, this was an idea that he had in his head that he was talking about it for a period of time. He had an idea, he started talking about it, and this past weekend, that was the manifestation, that was what was going on in his mind. But this was just the first step. This was the first time that he did that particular event. But excellent event, so definitely wanted to say kudos to Raheem, my producer, because his show was, I mean, it was a great show because no profanity, no innuendos, but just good-hearted, clean. And you all know how I like to laugh, so I was, I was on the floor. I got my pants dirty because I mean, it was so funny. I was like, man, this is phenomenal. But definitely a big shout out to Raheem. But back to my story. Last week when I went to church, because like I said, this show is about personal finance from a spiritual perspective. We don't do religion, because when you do religion, you start getting into trouble, right? Because people start believing in what they believe in. They believe what they think or say is the right thing to do. And so we don't do religion, but we do God. We do God because we know no matter what you say, no matter what you call him, Yahweh, some people say, you know, the great I am, some people say Christ, whatever you want to call him, I know is one entity, which is God. So we do God on this show, and we're going to always do God, but we don't do religion. But last week I went to church, and really, like one of the comedians was saying last week, have you ever been to church and it seemed like the pastor was just preaching to you? Like it was nobody else in the church but you and the pastor, right? So, we got a call? Call it, you on the air with the Daily Bread Radio Show. This is Joaquin Thompson. What's your name and where you calling from?
You know, the bread man. You know, Paul. I ain't got to interrupt nothing, but I just want to get stories. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So we got our resident co-host on. Cornbread. This is chair right here. Cornbread is here. So he called in and you know, hey man, we appreciate you. We appreciate you because you keep the show going. But yeah, just went to church, and the crazy part was this. I'm gonna just give you all a little color. Now you know when you go to church, and all of this has to do with mindset, right? Last week I went out and did some exercising in the morning, and I was on my way back home. Like I said, okay, I'm gonna go back home, I'm gonna take a shower, and I'm gonna go to church. Then I got to thinking, I was like, wait a minute, hold up, man. You really don't need to do all of that to go here and listen to God. So I literally normally I'll wear, you know, I might wear something like this. I'm not necessarily gonna wear a tie every week, you know, but you know, I'll put on some clothes, go to church with it. But this week I had on I just want you to get the color commentary of the backdrop of this story. I had on some sweatpants, some sneakers. I had on a hoodie where I was coaching a soccer team. It said Smyrna Soccer on it, and I had my sweatpants on and my sneakers, and I went to church. So I was like, so my old mind, and the reason I say my old mind, because I think, I really feel like I got a renewed mind. And in my old mind, I would have been like, I'm going to go home and change. I said, you know what? He said, what? Come as you are. He said, I ain't read nothing in the Bible yet that said you got to have on some slacks and some shoes. He just said, come. I just want you to come. I just want you to come. I'm 52 years old. I've been to church. Man, I grew up in church. Right there at Mount Airy. I went to Mount Airy first and then transitioned down to Mount Olive, the other end of Myrtle Avenue, right there at Myrtle and Kings Road. And, after that, went to D.C., church, and then moved. So I've been in church. I've been to church 52 years. I've been to church. This particular Sunday, I could hear God in my ear saying, just come. Just come to church. You ain't got to worry about going putting on. I said, okay, cool. That's what I'm going to do. Rolled up in the church, and as I'm walking in, I didn't even feel like I had on some workout gear. I felt like I had on a suit when I was walking in. I felt, I wasn't subconscious and went right down front, not to the front, but I was in the 100 section. I was in the 100 section in church. We got the 200 and the 300 section. I was sitting right down front in the 100 section. So the minister got to preaching on the sermon about how you need to change who you are in your perspective and how you have to, in life, how you have to just pivot and how change is not a destination, it's a process. It's a process. And then he started giving examples about how when people give their life to Christ, right? Because you hear people say, oh man, I gave my life to Christ. When people give their life to Christ, that don't mean that's not the destination. That is the beginning of a process to change. So that's just the first act. That's the first step. Like, okay, giving my life to Christ, I'm ready to be born again. What happened? So he was preaching, and I was doing my note. Yeah. But then it just got, man, I could feel something in my core. I'm talking about right in here. I could feel something it was just bubbling. Now, I done joined this church 3 times. I done joined it 3. I done joined the church at least 3 times, the same church. I done walked down there about 3 times. So I was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? So when I go, when they had an altar call, I'm like, I already been down there 3 times. It ain't no need of me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a realist. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying it ain't no need. It's no need for me to go back down to the altar because I done been down there 3 times. And I've been baptized. And I've been in the water. And I've been baptized in the church. So when they do the altar call every week, I'm saying to myself, like, I'm good. I don't need nothing, right? I'm good, God. I don't need, man, listen to what I'm saying to you. When that minister said, he said this. He said, if you got something going on in your life that you don't know what to do about it, I need you to come down here. Bro. I had on man, you ain't hear what I said. I had on some sweatpants and a hoodie, sweatshirt, and some sneakers at a church where everybody clean to the T, the ushers and man, I got up and walked down there to the altar, and he said, these people who are down at this altar, he said, I'm going to say a special prayer for you to release you from whatever's been keeping you bound up. Man, I was down there, man. I was like, oh, man. I was just like, oh, I can't. I was like, man, thank you, God, for just believing in me. So I'm at the altar, and I was like, man, this is, oh, my God. So when he finished praying, everybody, went back to their seats, and he said, for the people that want to join the church, you're welcome to join, Bob. But as I was walking back to my seat, man, I don't know about the people that are listening to me live. I don't know about the people that's gonna hear this replay, but I'm gonna say this in full transparency. I don't know if you've ever had an encounter with God, but if you ever do have an encounter with God, you will know it. Last week I had an encounter with God. He showed me some things. He showed me some things that were so incredible that I couldn't, man, it broke me down to the point where I couldn't even walk. It was like a hallway that we go out, in and out of the church. I was leaning up, I couldn't, man, I was crying so hard, man.
Come on.
The people thought, man, this brother came, I fell down on the floor, bruh. I was on my knees on the floor, man, just, bruh, I couldn't, man, and I was conscious, but not conscious. And then a brother came over to me that I know. He came to me, man, he was like, bruh, he said, man, I don't know what's going on with you, man, but he reached his hand out, man, and we gripped up. Man, I was goddamn, I know when he probably, I know the next time I see it, he gonna be like, bro, you good? Man, and when it was, man, when I finally got to the point where I could get really just get myself together, man, when I walked out of that church, man, I said, God, I hear you loud and clear. I was like, I hear you loud and clear. And part of what that prayer was is I know how hard you've been working, and I know what you've been going through. And all of us go through things. Everybody go through things. But the thing I would say tonight, I said the next time that I get on this show, I'm gonna say, I don't care where you at, I don't care what's going on in your life, man, please, if you don't do that, please ask God to come into your life. Just ask God to come into your life. Bruh, you will get, man, it was like I was in the Matrix or something, man. I'm talking about, it was like, when I got home, I asked myself, I was like, what was I crying about? Right? I couldn't answer. I could not answer why. Like, what was I doing on the ground? I was like, I could not answer. But you talking about a feeling of relief, man, it felt like I was a basketball, man, and somebody stuck a pin in me, and all of the air came out, man. I mean, so, and whatever you chase, and that was the other thing that was the other part of the prayer was like, it don't matter how long you've been toiling at something, stay the course. Just stay on it. Just stay. Because he talked about Abraham and how Abraham was ready to sacrifice his only son. And then I think that's what really got me when he said, sometimes you got to turn around to see that God already has something for you, already caught in a thicket. It's already there waiting on you. It's already done. I was like, oh, man. So, of course, I was thinking about the show. I was thinking about coming up on 100. And all of this ties into, and you may be asking yourself, why is he talking about that? The reason I'm talking about it is this. Think about anything that you could have been doing 100 times, every week, 100 times. if you did it every week, 100, if you did it for 100 weeks, I don't care what it was. I don't care if you was practicing basketball. I don't care if you was practicing the violin. I don't care what it was, whatever it is. And you did it at an hour at a time. You just did 100 hours of doing something. Do you realize if you did 100 hours of needlework, if I started just crocheting if I did it every hour, I mean every week for an hour, and I did it 100 hours, man, I know I could probably crochet a jacket or some pants or some a cape with pajamas. Something, man. Let me give out this number, man. The number to the studio is 712-770-4984.
Some socks or something.
The pin, you got to put in a pin number 2. The pin is 813-435. So it's just like a credit card. So if you want to come to the show, 712-770-4984. Then you swipe, you swipe your card, and then you put in the PIN number, 813-435. You put that in, and you can call into the show, let me know what you think about. You know, we got Cornbread on. That's our, like I said, man, that's our resident co-host. You know, he keep the energy in there, man, and that's all I can say on that, man. It's just it's I can't speak for everybody. I can say, you know, something happened, man. I could never go back and say I don't know. I can't even lie. I can't lie and say, well, I don't know how that feel. I'm like, man, that's a lie. I know. Now I know. I guess that's the best way to put it. And want to say shout out to my beautiful wife. Super proud of you, girl. Love you. Got a birthday coming up. She turning 22 this weekend, y'all. 22. Deuce. My baby turning 22, so we're going to celebrate the life of Tanya.
That's Cornbread. What did he say?
Say what?
That's Cornbread. What did he say?
What did Cornbread say?
Action.
What did he say? He ain't lied, did he?
Yeah, he said 22.
22, man.
Yeah.
He ain't chuckle, did he?
You better handle that.
Hey, man. Did you chuckle? Hey, bro.
I snickered.
Hey, man, don't be no snickering on my show, man. No, I heard it, man. I heard it.
You didn't hear it. I snickered.
No, don't be sneakering or snickering or nothing else on this show, man. I said my baby turning 22.
I love my cousin.
We've been married 28 years, and she turning 22. So do the math, man. Do the math, bro.
I'm doing the math.
Do the math, bro. Do the math. So, couple of announcements. We, like we said, we're making history on next week. Next Thursday, I'm going to be presenting a seminar on personal finance to the student body of Morehouse College, and it's being sponsored by the Talent Assessment and Development Academy and the Career Development and Engagement Department. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be featured. I'm their guest, and I'm going to be teaching for 1 hour. I got 60 minutes to teach them everything they need to know about personal finance. I got 60 minutes. So I'm going to put it out there. I'm giving them some nuggets. I'm giving them some things that when they leave, if nothing else, when they leave, they're going to have a working knowledge on 3 things. And we're going to have the credit challenge. I'm putting that out there to them, so not to give them a head start, but I'm going to definitely put that out to them as well. Because I want to see where they are, because the world is changing, man. The world is not the way that it used to be, and we can't do the things that we used to do and think that we're going to continue to progress, man. We really have to start thinking differently and doing things differently in order to, you know, prepare for the next generation. I mean, I got an 8-year-old grandson. I'm working on this dude every day. He's like a social experiment. I'm teaching him everything I know. I'm teaching him stock. I'm teaching him about saving money. I'm teaching him about the value of relationships. I'm teaching him everything. Well, he's going to be a renaissance man when I finish with him. And that's my goal. My goal with him is just to turn him into somebody that is going to be just a powerful person in the future. And the reason that's important is this. Many times people kind of think like, well, it ain't happened for me. I ain't worried about it. No, you're going to need to worry about it because you may live another 30 years. And these are the young men and women that's going to be making decisions about you. So you don't want no joker running around here still talking about they don't understand money, they don't understand credit, they don't understand why you can't be at the old folks home, somebody asking you about money, you 79, 80 years old, you know, can I get some money? I'm like, man, go on with that. So I'm trying to teach this young brother how to fish. So as much time that he's putting into youth sports and basketball and football and soccer and all, I'm saying, hey, I'm going to put that same amount of time into you from a personal finance standpoint, and we're going to see how that turn out, right? See how that mixture turn out, right? So doing that with my man Kobe. So I'll be at Morehouse College next Thursday, 12 to 1 p.m. in Mays Hall. I'll be doing my personal finance seminar for the students of Morehouse. And this is just one of many. I mean, this is just the beginning. Because the vision that I have is like, I'm going to be doing all of the HBCUs, all of the non-HBCUs, and teaching personal finance. And I get it. It ain't for everybody. So you don't have to be discouraged when you like, man, everybody don't get it. That's fine. You don't need everybody to get it. You need somebody to get it. And I know when I finish talking, somebody gonna get it. Somebody. Might be one. Might be one student. But guess what? That one student might be,
Keep going.
that one student might be the one. So I don't need, it ain't got to be all, 10,000 of the Morehouse. That's fine. I'll get one from Morehouse, one from Clark, one from Spelman. Then I'm going to go to D.C., get one from Howard, then come back down, Virginia Union, Virginia State, get them, boo, boo, boo. Get North Carolina A&T, boo, 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 boo.
Build a little team.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just, South Carolina State, boo, boo, boo. Bennett, boo, boo, boo. Johnson C. Smith, boo, boo. Shoot down to, Bethune, hit FAM, boo, boo. Go over to Xavier, go up to Central, boo, boo, boo. Just, go out to Prairie View. And after a while, 5 or 10 years into the future, it'd be like, this will be the gold standard. Like, no students will be graduating from HBCU without understanding personal finance. Because the game has changed. So that's going to be, like I said, that's going to be next week at Morehouse College. So super, 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 super excited about that and all of the work that we're going to be doing over there with them. So,
Anthony Jackson.
okay. This is Joaquin Thompson with the Daily Bread Radio Show. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Anthony Jackson, Duval.
Oh, man.
What?
Did you really? Wait a minute, man.
Wait a what?
Now, you know better, man. Now, you know
Handle it.
we've been doing this show.
Handle it.
Man, listen, man.
Handle it.
Listen. I wouldn't say it to you. I wouldn't do it to you if I didn't love you, man. But I'm going to say it one more time, and I'm going to give you another opportunity to redeem yourself, brother.
We gonna cut through all that.
Okay, we go ahead. So that mean you call up here with the word there. So we gonna cut through all of that, and you go right ahead there, brother.
Hey, no, I just saw the tell you, man, I heard your testimony.
Okay.
And the key thing about it is, when God has something big for you to do,
Come on.
He will give you a visitation.
Oh man,
He will give you that visitation.
man,
Like I always told you, you haven't seen anything yet. You just getting started.
man.
But the bigger is on the way.
Okay,
The bigger is on the way.
okay, man.
The bigger is on the way.
Hey, man. I appreciate that, bro. Cause like I said, I'm you know me, man. You know me pretty much all my life, so if I say something, man, it definitely is gonna be. That's exactly what it was. Cause I didn't know what it was. I've never experienced nothing like that, man. I've never, and it was clarity on it was really just that. Just know that all of the provisions are already set aside, and it's coming. So don't be focused on that. I want you to. And the funny thing about that is that was one of my internal fears, right? Because the thing that I kept questioning myself about is like, man, I got this big vision, man. I'm gonna help all these people, man. But I'm like, man, I'm just one person. Like, how am I gonna
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, and bruh, he answered all of that. So he told me, you just do what you're supposed to do and let me do what I'm supposed to do. I said, all right. I was just like he was talking to a kid. I said, all right, I ain't talking back no more. And I'm not gonna I'm not gonna carry that fear with me about, what is not. So I've been going boldly, man, ever since then. I'm, reaching out. Like I said, this thing with Morehouse, man, is gonna be historic because it's something bigger behind that door, and
Right.
and it's young people, man. These kids younger than my kids. My kids, I'm like, my youngest daughter 25. These kids like 20. And I'm working with these little babies, man. Like I said, my grandson, he 8. I'm going to start a program just for like 8 and 9 and 10-year-olds. Cause my grandson, he hitting his little friends. His little friend came over for a sleepover. My daughter said his little friend came over for a little sleepover. They was talking. She said she passed by his room. My grandson said, "Hey man, do you know anything about stock?" She said, "That little boy was looking at my grandson like, do what?"
But the key thing about it is you see that what you're doing is not in vain.
Nah, man.
Because out of the mouth of babes, because the key thing about it is, it's all about imparting the seed. If you can plant that seed, in due time it's gonna germinate. It's gonna germinate in due season.
Right.
And the key thing about it is, it's first natural, then spiritual. Your encounter that you had happened to you naturally first because of the fact that of how he was looking at when you went in, what you had on you.
Yeah.
That was the natural side. But then he dealt with the spiritual side.
Right.
In the spirit, we can do any and everything. There's no limitation. But it's in the natural that will hold us up. Because we're looking at what we can't do because of our human limitations.
Come on.
Ooh-wee.
What you gonna say?
Amen.
You bothered with me tonight because I was just sitting here listening to the show. Until you told me that you had your encounter.
Hold on for a second.
Oh man. Man, cut that off, man. You're gonna get the police after us, man. You gonna get the hey man, the Facebook police be after us, man. We play that music.
A word to the producer, hey man, keep on doing what you're doing. I heard about the great work that you did up there
Yes, sir.
in the Atlanta area.
Appreciate
Hey
it.
man, y'all keep on rocking.
Oh, we gonna do it, man. We can't stop. We just like you said, we can't stop, man. And I appreciate you, bro, man. Love you, man. Love you.
Hey man, love you too, man. And keep this train moving forward.
Oh, no doubt, man. No doubt. Gotta do it, man. Gotta do
Okay.
it. All right, Skip.
I'll get with you.
Okay, baby.
Okay, peace.
Yo. So, yeah, man, my grandson, he hitting people, man. Now they had a little. He kept. I was talking to him today. They had a dude came to their class with career day, right? He said, Papa, he says a guy came to my class that he was an attorney. I said, yeah. He said, yeah. He told me he was a lawyer, and then he helped people. And he told me everything the lawyers do, and he asked the kids, did anybody have a question?
Oh Lord.
He said, yeah, I got a question. He said, the guy said, go ahead. He said, do you he said, do you have to own stock to be an attorney?
Lord.
That jug's a monster, man. He said, the guy looked at him and said, well, nah. He said, nah, you don't have to own stock. He said, oh, because I got 2 shares and I just wanted to know. I said, boy, man, I done created a little monster around them, man. But, yeah, so that's what we doing. We're going to do Morehouse next week. And then next Saturday, March the 9th, we're going to be celebrating Women of Excellence at the the Real Women Atlanta event is going to be at the Savannah College of Art and Design. That's going to be next Saturday, March the 9th. And we're really going to be celebrating 400 years, because this is 2019. So we're going to be celebrating 400 years of Black women excellence. So we have some awards that we're going to be giving out. We're going to be really highlighting different young ladies in the business community, in the civic community, in a number of different areas, so that way that we could continue to, pay homage to the young ladies that are doing big things in our community. So the event is called Still We Rise, the 619 celebration of Black women. It's going to be Saturday, March the 9th, 6 p.m. Red carpet starts at 6 p.m. The show starts at 7 p.m. and it's going to go from 7 to 9 p.m. My co-host is going to be Amanda Cooper from WAOK radio station. I'm going to be one of the hosts, so I got to go get my tuxedo, start drinking my water, eat my lettuce this week.
Yes, sir.
So I can drop, get ready for the, I got to drop this weight so I can be looking, little stealthy. But we also going to be celebrating, the honorees are going to be Mayor Evelyn Wynn Dixon, Mercedes Miller, she's the executive director of the Georgia International Convention Center, Senator Nakima Williams, and attorney Meredith Lilly. So we're going to have a great evening of celebration. Still We Rise, 1619 celebration of Black women. And it's sponsored by Real Women Atlanta Magazine and My Econ Incorporated. So that's what we're going to be doing next week on the 9th. And so that should be an outstanding show. That should be an outstanding show. And again, I thank the creator for bringing these type of opportunities to me, because I'm going to be bigger than Steve Harvey. That's my Steve Harvey moment. So maybe I won't say, what is it, Miss South America?
Yeah, he said wrong name. Yeah,
Oh
wrong
man,
country.
I'm worried about saying the wrong name.
Yeah, don't you do it.
I keep asking, when we gonna practice? When we gonna practice? They said practice. Practice. You don't need no practice. Because you want to do practice.
What?
So I'm just like, no, man. We're gonna be doing that, and just to jump into a couple topics. I know we got like 14 minutes left on the show, but one of the things I want to remind you all of is three. This is simplicity. So for 2019, we're doing simple things on the Daily Bread Radio Show. So that way, because I don't want nobody coming back like, I would have did it, but it was so complex. I couldn't remember what you said. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna break it down even further. So here's one for you, and I talked about it last week. I'm gonna talk about it again this week because I really believe in this. Think like, and you fill in the blank. Think like, act like, be like, and you fill in the blank. So you could think like a chef, you can act like a chef, and then you could be a chef, right? You could think like a choir director, you can act like a choir director, and then you could be a choir director. You can think like a media mogul, you can act like a media mogul, and then you could be a media mogul. So that's a simple lesson. And I'm gonna get that to these kids next week. Like, hey, it's a new world. We in a digital space now. So if you still talking about tractors and plowing fields, you done got left way behind. If you still talking about CDs like I was, I said, man, when you plug in the CD? And they looked at me like, what? If you still like me, we're still talking about CDs, we need to bring you up to the 21st century. So just keep those intact. Think, act, and be. Think, act, and be. So that was one of the topics that I want to talk about. I touched on this agenda topic that I'd written down about my experience last week, but one of the things that I want to talk about is all of us are the chosen one in our given right. All of us are the chosen one. We keep looking for, we talk about things that are going wrong in our community, things that are going wrong in our world, things we don't like on our job, things we don't like in our business. The change starts with you.
Come on.
The change starts with you. And I'm a big proponent of that. When my daughters were small, and we went to go sign up for basketball. They had a waiting list of men to be boys coaches and didn't have enough men or women to be girls coaches. So what I decided to do, I'm gonna be a coach. And I was the coach of my daughter's team, my youngest daughter. That's another story. I ain't even gonna go into that. She was 6, and I was, man, I don't know what age I was, but we worked it out, put it that way. We worked it out. But whatever you see, you are the chosen one. So don't be sitting there waiting on somebody to get elected. Don't be waiting on somebody to get up on the usher board. Don't be waiting on somebody to come down your street and be like, man, these people need to cut these hedges. You are the chosen one. All of us are the chosen one in our given right. The only thing we have to do is understand and believe that we're the chosen one, right? That's the first thing. You got to believe it. Once you do that in your mind, and you don't have to ask nobody for permission to be the chosen one. So if you want to see something change in your life, the change starts with you. The change starts with you. You want people to stop smoking? The change starts with you. You want people to stop cursing? You stop cursing. You want people to stop drinking? You stop drinking. The change starts with you. You want people to start exercising? So I'm saying that to say whatever, because a lot of times we give a lot of dialogue to, man, this and that. The change begins with you. Put that idea in your mind. Let it ruminate in your mind. And ruminate is just, that's a word where things just go in cycles. It just keeps going through, right? You can let that ruminate with you, and then you become that change agent. You become the change agent. It all starts with you. You would be surprised at what one person with a made up mind, man, they could change. You can change a lot of stuff, man. So that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight, as well as being the chosen one. Now we got 10 minutes left, so I want to put y'all up on something. Hopefully you all got pen and paper wherever you at. I'm gonna give you, because some of the feedback is, man, you need to give them step by step on some personal finance stuff. So every week, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to put you all up on something that I know you may otherwise not have understood or known about, and I'm gonna give it to you in some simple steps so that way you can understand it, right? So this is a quick way for you to understand how interest. Listen to this. In order for you to eliminate debt, you need to understand how debt is created, right? In order for you to eliminate it, you have to understand how it's created. That's with anything in life, so I'm not going to go into that. But for debt, here's the formula. And the other thing I want you to understand is this. Debt accumulates daily. That's pretty simple, right? Just understand that. Debt accumulates daily. So you might say, what does that mean? That means this. If you want to figure out how much interest is accruing on your outstanding debts, here's a simple formula. This is a simple formula for you. You take your outstanding balance. You start with an outstanding balance. So I'm going to say $1,000. So let's use that number, right? So you have a credit card. The credit card is $1,000, right? Your interest rate, and you multiply. So you take your outstanding balance, $1,000, you multiply it, so it's 1,000 times 25%, right? So that's a fair interest rate, because people have credit cards, they're really at 24.99, which is what? 25%. $1,000 times 25% divided by 365, right? So y'all got your calculators out. Everybody, get on your calculator. So I'm gonna put it in mind as well. Let's do that. $1,000 times 24%, and if you don't have a percent sign on your calculator, just do 0.25. That'll be 25% divided by 365. Because that's 365 days, right? No days off of debt. Debt accumulates daily, right? So that comes out to 68, did I get that right? 68 cents a day, right? 68 cents. That ain't right. Hold up, man. Hold on. 1,000 times, see, I had to do this again too, 25%. And I might have did it right. Divided by 365. Why am I calculating right? 365 equals. Oh, man. Calculator get on TV and don't want to do right. Times.
Might be operator.
I know, man. They might be nervous. 25% divided. Man, I think this is Google or something, man. Every time I come on, times 25% divided by 365 equals. That ain't right. What's wrong with this calculator?
Man, it's operator.
Is it user error?
Yep, absolutely.
Nah, bruh. Divided by. Oh, nah, this is on some most scientific thing, bruh. That's what it is. $6.84 a day. $6.84 a day. I don't know what's going on here, but if you take, because I'm gonna show you. 250 divided by. Let's clear this out. So that's one thing I love is numbers divided by. Man, this computer is just tripping tonight. But I got y'all. Divided by. Because once you do this, and the good thing about it is, there you go, yeah. So it is, 68 cents. Okay, so then you want to take that 68 cents a day, multiply it by 30. And that comes out to $20.54 of interest. $1,000, you got a $1,000 bill. So that month, you have a interest payment of $20.54 for the month, for 30 days, right? So here's the game. What happens is this, when you get your bill, when they send you a bill to pay the minimum amount that's due is only $25. So you get your bill, you got a $1,000 bill, you say, oh, the minimum amount is only $25, right? You can pay more, but you pay the minimum amount. So you pay the $25, $20 of the $25 is interest. So that $1,000 bill that you had now it became a $995 bill for next month. So now you can see how long it would take you to pay that debt off. Now, that formula that I just gave you, outstanding balance times the interest, don't worry about the calculator on my computer was acting crazy. Outstanding balance multiplied by the interest on whatever debt that you have divided by 365, that'll tell you exactly how much interest is being accrued every day, or some people might say, what's accrued? That's being generated every single day on that debt. That's just one debt. And I did a small one, like $1,000. It's the same thing on a house note, same thing on a car note, same thing on a student loan. So when you start getting into bigger items like a student loan, a car note, a mortgage, student loan debt, when you start getting into bigger numbers and use that same formula, outstanding balance times interest divided by 365. When you do that, that'll tell you how much interest is being generated every day. Now, here's the thing to that. So if you want to start to eliminate that, what you need to do, and this is the game, and I know we only got a couple minutes left, so I'm going to give it to you real quick. The reason they send you a bill once a month is they want to allow time for the interest to be collected or generated over a 30-day period and then send you the bill. So that way they say, oh, here's 30 days worth of interest. You can send this $25 payment, and you're not understanding that 20 of that 25 is interest. Because you say, oh, I'm making my payments on time. I'm gonna keep my credit straight. But you're not gonna decrease your debt that way. The way you should be paying it is, it don't matter what type of debt it is. You should be paying it weekly. If it's a mortgage, car note, student loan, you should be breaking your payments up and sending that money weekly. And then once you send in if you send it in weekly and you still have some more money that you want to put on it, you can put some more money on it, because the way the system, see, when you start sending it in weekly, your interest that's being calculated is going down every week. So that interest, instead of you being calculated on $1,000, and then $1,000.68, and then $1,001, you'll start knocking that $1,000 down to $995, $990, because you paying during the week. So that way, when you go through 30 days, you would have taken out a lot of the principal, and now the interest is not accruing. So very, very powerful concept if you understand it and implement it. Outstanding debt times your interest rate divided by 365. And notice I said 365, so that means Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Martin Luther King Day, 4th of July. Your debt is still being accrued every single day. So every morning when you wake up and you say your prayers, or every night when you go to sleep and you say your prayers, when you wake up the next morning, guess what? Some more debt is accumulated for you, unless you eliminate it. So that's my quick teaching for today on debt elimination and understanding how debt is calculated. So I'm gonna give you two things as far as the book of the week, because we right at the top of the hour. This brother right here, T.J. Lofton, he has a book called Monetizing Gentrification by Thomas T.J. Lofton. This is a awesome book. This brother was on my show a few months back, and I purchased the book from him. And when I went home, I read the book. I read the entire book, which is like 130 pages, 125 pages. I read the whole book in one setting. It's that powerful. Because this brother, what he's talking about, and you starting to see this, people that travel, people that go to different places, you start to see how gentrification, how they're monetizing gentrification all over the country. New York, D.C., L.A., Atlanta, Florida, Texas, wherever you want to name, that's what they're doing. All of those old neighborhoods that we used to have, they going and buying up that land, pennies on the dollar. And what's starting to happen is there's a shift in real estate where people that are in hot areas, like your Californias, your New York, stuff like, they're looking for a way to buy something cheaper, because some of these people have worked their whole life and they never purchased a home. They always lived in an apartment. Now they're ready to retire, they want to live in a house. But you can't buy a house in California, the type of house that you want, for less than, say, $1.5 million. This brother has a house in Compton. Listen what I'm saying to you. He has a house in Compton, California. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house in Compton. The house is valued at $850,000. $850,000. Now, can you imagine how much house you can buy in Atlanta for $850,000? So with that being said, what's happening? All of those people are coming here. They going to the South. They going to Florida. They going to North Florida, Jacksonville, Orlando, Pensacola, Destin, because the land is cheaper and the houses are cheaper. But what we are getting to is a tipping point where people are not going to be able to afford. This is real talk. A lot of people, including a lot of African Americans, are not going to be able to afford to buy a house because they're not going to make enough income. Especially college students as graduate from college. Because right now in Atlanta, the median home price in Atlanta is $250,000. That's the median. That means it's right in the middle, right? I didn't say the mean, which is the average, the median. That means half of the houses are below that and the other half are above that. And that number is going up every year. It's going up and up and up and up and up. So what's going to happen is we're going to get to a point where people are not going to be able to afford a $300,000 house or a $350,000 house. And when that happens, not only are the housing prices going to be too high, but the rent is going to be too high. Why? Because everybody's going to be trying to rent. That's game. Go check this brother's book out. I believe you can get it on Amazon, Monetizing Gentrification. The other book that I wanted you all to have, and it's so timely based on the conversation that we had tonight, Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. The Secret to Freedom and Success. This book, man, if you read this book, Outwitting the Devil, this is a powerful, man, I've read hundreds of books, hundreds. If you come out, I always had 3 or 4 books with me, 3 or 4 in the car, hundreds of books. You got the Bible is one. The Bible, that's my number 1 book. Then after the Bible, Laws of Success, which is written by, ironically, this same author, Napoleon Hill. It's called The Law of Success. And then number 3 is this book, Outwitting the Devil. This is a book about a guy that is having a conversation with the devil. And what he's doing is he's literally going through asking different questions to the devil, and the devil is responding to him. This is Q&A. This is not a narrative. This is Q&A. So I'm gonna read you a quick synopsis. Not even a synopsis, a quick excerpt. That's the right word. The topic is dominating thoughts. Listen to what he says. This is the devil speaking, right? Dominating thoughts. And this is, and he wrote it in first person. So this is the devil speaking about dominating thoughts. This is what he says. He says, I cause people to drift into the habit of thinking negative thoughts. That's the first sentence. This leads to negative acts and involves people in controversies and fills their minds with fears, thus paving the way for me to enter and control their minds. When I move in, I do so by appealing to people through negative thoughts which they believe to be their own. I plant the seeds of negative thought in the minds of people through the pulpit, the newspapers, the moving pictures, because keep in mind, this was written in the 1920s. The moving pictures, the radio, and all other popular methods of appeal to the mind. I cause people to allow me to do their thinking for them because they are too lazy and too indifferent to think for themselves. That's deep. Now, is there any truth in that? I don't know. I don't know. Listen to what he says about marriage. I'm going to leave y'all with this. Listen to what he says about marriage. I cause men and women to drift into marriage without a plan or purpose designed to convert the relationship into harmony. Here's one of my most effective methods of converting people into the habit of drifting. I cause married people to bicker and nag one another over money matters. I cause them to quarrel over the bringing up of their children. I engage them in unpleasant controversies over their intimate relationships and in disagreements over friends and social activities. I keep them so busy finding fault with one another that they never have time to do anything else long enough to break the habit of drifting. Deep, man, deep. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and close out episode 93. And as always, it's been a historic show. I want to thank everybody that joined the show tonight, everybody that's listening to us live, everybody that's going to look at, or listen to the rebroadcast, and just go back and marinate on the topics and the things that we talked about tonight, because again, it's life changing. So couldn't do it without you all. Cornbread.
Yes, sir.
Cornbread, man. Hey, you have a beautiful evening, brother. We appreciate you. We appreciate everything that you do for the show, man. And we coming up on 100, man. We counting down. We got six.
Yeah.
We got 6 shows to go. We got 6 shows to
All
go.
right.
All right. So
No problem to it.
you have a good evening, brother. Everybody that's on the on the web, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, the website. Everybody everywhere that's thinking positive thoughts about the Daily Bread Radio Show, that's praying for the Daily Bread Radio Show, that has nothing but positivity about the Daily Bread Radio Show. I truly, truly, truly indebted to all of your support because we just beginning. We just beginning. We have some big things planned. We're going to help a lot of people, and we do everything that we can. That God has given us the will and the power and the provision to do it. So that's what I'm here to do, is just to be a vessel and help as many people as I can. So y'all have a beautiful evening. Hey, I couldn't even start. Hey, y'all have a beautiful evening, man. Hey, nothing but love for y'all. And I'll see y'all right here next week. The #1 show on the internet, the Daily Bread Radio Show. Oh yeah. Hey man, don't be cutting my microphone off.
Yeah, shut your mic.
Don't cut my microphone off, man.
Down, shut it down.
Hey.